This book here, Letting Go, is necessary because some of the things that we have grabbed hold to, knowingly or unknowingly, must be released so that the true us can step forward finally, once and for all. We can derobe of all of these imageries and personalities and habits and things that we've picked up over the course of our lives. And we can actually be who we are supposed to be, who we are meant to be in this iteration, okay? All right. Now that that foundation has been laid, if you have your book, please, please, please join me in reading this particular chapter. We are reading chapter 16, and that is entitled The Benefits of Letting Go. The Benefits of Letting Go. Before I get started, I want to let you all know we are airing live on several platforms. So we are on Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Let's see, several places, you all, simultaneously. So I thank you all, everyone who's listening by way of just listening in, because some people, they'll tell me they're listening to it. They listen to me as if, I'm on a podcast or something. So they'll listen to it while they're doing other things. And I appreciate you. I do appreciate you because your presence is felt. Your energy is received. And I thank you for sharing it with us all. Okay. At any point that you hear something that resonates with you, feel free to let us know. Put it in the chat, put it in the comments, and I will give voice to your words and share, because you may be asking a question or sharing an insight that we gain revelation from. So don't hold it, speak, share, you know what I mean? And so that we all can learn and grow together, okay? With that being said, we're going to move on to chapter 16, the benefits of letting go. Emotional growth. The most obvious and visible effect of letting go of negative feelings is a resumption of emotional and psychological growth and the solving of problems, which often have been long-lasting and long-standing. There's a pleasure and a satisfaction as we begin to experience the powerful effects of eliminating the blocks to achievement and satisfaction in life. We soon discover that the limiting thoughts and negative beliefs, which we had naively held to be true, were all merely the result of accumulated negative feelings. See? They were only a result of accumulated negative feelings, what we've accumulated over the course of our lives. When the feeling is let go, then the thought patterns change from I can't to I can, and to I'm happy to do it. Entire areas of life can open up. What used to be awkward or unexpressed can become effortless and joyously alive. That's it. Illustrative of this progression is the experience of an intelligent, successful, middle-aged professional man who all his life had been unable to dance. He wanted to dance in the worst way. And several times during his life had attended dancing classes. But each time he found himself to be stiff, awkward, and self-conscious. By sheer willpower, he did manage at times to go through the motions on the dance floor, but never enjoyed it and always felt ill at ease. His movements felt stiff and calculated, and the whole experience was lacking in satisfaction, doing nothing for his self-esteem. After a year of working with the mechanism of surrender, he was at a party with someone who kept insisting that he get up and dance. You know I can't dance, he said. Oh, come on and try it, she entreated. She persisted and said, forget about your feet. Just watch me and do what my body does. Reluctantly, he agreed, and he kept letting go of his feelings of resistance and anxiety. On the dance floor, he let go completely. In an instant, his inner feelings ascended the scale from apathy to love. And to his amazement, he suddenly began to dance like he had always dreamed of and envied. The realization of I can't do it hit him, and he went from love to joy and even to ecstasy. I can do it hit him. His delight radiated to everyone. Friends stopped to watch. From a state of high joy, he suddenly went into the experience of oneness with his dance partner. He suddenly saw his own higher self looking out of her eyes and realized that there was actually only one higher self behind all of the individual selves. Yes, he and she became telepathically connected. He knew her every step a split second before she took it. They were in perfect harmony and danced as though they had practiced and danced together for years. He could hardly contain his joy. The dancing became effortless and began to happen on its own, without any conscious thought on his part. The longer they danced, the more energy he felt. It was a peak experience that was to change this man's life. He went home that night and danced some more. Freestyle disco dancing had always terrified him more than any other because there was no form to be memorized. It necessitated spontaneity and a free feeling, which is just what he had specifically been unable to experience previously. At home, he turned on the disco music and began to dance for hours. He watched himself in the mirror, fascinated by the body's surrender and the inner feeling of freedom. All of a sudden, he remembered a previous lifetime in vivid detail. Wow. He had been a great dancer in that lifetime, and now he began to remember the specific instructions that he had been given to him, that had been given to him by his teachers in that lifetime. When he followed their instructions, the results were amazing. He discovered that there was a vertical gravitational center of balance within himself, and he began to rotate about it in a perfect balance. The movement was effortless, and he became merely the witness of the dancing. It was no longer any feeling of I. There was just the joy and the dancing itself. Now he instantly understood the very basis of the Sufi dancing of the whirling dervishes, their ability to whirl and spin without dizziness or fatigue. That certain state of consciousness ensued from the surrendering of the individual self. The breakthrough that this man experienced on the dance floor then transferred itself to any other previously blocked areas of his life. Where there had been limitation, now there was rapid expansion. These changes were very obvious to his friends and family, whose positive feedback increased his self-esteem and his desire to keep letting go of the negative feelings and thoughts that had blocked the experience of joy in his life. That's awesome. This experience had been cited in some detail for a number of reasons. It illustrates the scale of consciousness that we presented in a previous chapter. For 50 years, this man had been at the lowest level of the scale in this area of his life, with the accompanying belief that I can't. The inhibition decreased his self-esteem and resulted in avoidance. For years, he managed to avoid social affairs where there would be dancing. He was angry at himself for his inhibitions, and he would feel angry when anyone tried to get him to dance. In a matter of seconds and minutes, he experienced every emotion of the whole scale and went all the way to the top. At that point, there was the emergence of a higher consciousness with sudden spiritual awareness of a very high order. With higher consciousness came understanding and the release of psychic ability, telepathic communication, synchronicity, and past life recall. As a result, his life showed a behavioral change, and his momentum removed an endless series of blocks and reinforced the growth motivation that was already in progress. That's awesome. The rate of emotional growth reported by those who use the mechanism of surrender is related to the consistency with which they surrender their negative feelings, and there is no relationship to age. People have ranged in age from the teens to the 80s with equal benefit. Repressed and suppressed feelings require counter energy to keep them submerged. It takes energy to hold down our feelings. As these feelings are relinquished, the energy that had been holding down the negativity is now free for constructive uses. Consequent to letting go, there is an increase in available energy for creativity, growth, work, and interpersonal relationships. The quality and enjoyment of these activities increase. Most people are too exhausted to bring a really high quality into their experiences unless the negative programs opposing them have been resolved. Man, oh man, oh man, look at that. He let go. He let go. He allowed himself to step out of his fears and limitations. He let go. He no longer cared about what the thoughts of the other people would think, and his self-esteem. Like his partner, his friend said, don't worry about your feet. Forget about your feet. Look at my body. Look and do what my body does. Stop being so calculated. Stop trying to be perfect. Just do, just move, just act, and allow yourself to surrender to the process and watch and see it'll become fluid. And sure enough, it became fluid. That's awesome. Built up his confidence, all of those things. That's what's up. Sometimes all it takes is just you doing it. Just do it. Do it scared. Do it scared, but do it. Right? Do it intimidated, but do it. Do it. Okay? Do it. Do it quaking in your boots, but do it. Right? And before you know it, all of the fear, all of the trepidation, all of the worry, all of the, what are they going to think? All of that is going to dissipate. It's going to dissipate, okay? Because fear stands no chance in the face of courage, period, okay? Next section, problem solving. The effectiveness of the letting go mechanism in problem solving often is quite astonishing. Understanding the process involved here is very important because it is quite different than the world's usual methods. The approach that brings fast and easy results is the following. Don't look for answers. Instead, let go of the feeling behind the question. Don't look for answers. Instead, let go of the feelings behind the question. When we are surrendered on the feeling behind the question, we can let go of any other feelings that we might also have about what seems to be the problem. When we are finally and fully surrendered on all components, the answer will be there waiting for us. We won't have to look for it. Consider how simple and easy this is as compared to the mind's usual long, drawn-out, inefficient attempts at problem solving. Usually the mind hunts and pecks endlessly, fumbling around with first this possible answers, and then that possible answer. The reason the mind can't decide is because it is looking in the wrong place. Let's see how the system works with a common everyday example. Let's say that we disagree with our mate on which movie to watch. We look to see what the feeling is behind the problem. In this case, let's say that we find the feeling of anger and resentment, specifically that we feel resentful about the lack of romantic time spent together. What we really want tonight is affectionate time. Okay, is affectionate time spent together. As we let it be okay inside ourselves that what we really want is affectionate togetherness, it suddenly dawns on us that we don't want to go to the movie at all. We just want to be together. Or the opposite might happen. We might find that the feeling behind wanting to go to the movie is fear, because we want to avoid spending the evening talking to and being close to our mate. Oh man, that is real. We see that the feelings we have built up are unpleasant. We have resentment. So we let go of wanting to modify that feeling and we just let it be there. It's okay to have that resentment. As we surrender our resistance to the resentful feeling, we feel less guilty. We admit to our mate that we have had a resentment. A dialogue starts going and the other person's feelings are cleared up as well. We both feel relieved and closer. And we then say, to heck with the movies. Let's stay home, make love, and go for a walk in the moonlight. Okay? This approach is rewarding in all decision making. When we first clear out the underlying feelings, the decisions are more realistic and wise. That's it. Ooh, that's it. Making decisions full of emotion and unresolved matters, undertones, and all of those things that we're harboring and holding on to, refuse to let go and talk about. And oh man, listen, I counsel a lot of couples, and honey, this is one of the things that we deal with right here. Think of how often we have changed our mind and regretted past decisions. That is because there was an unrecognized and unrelinquished feeling behind the decision. When the action that was decided upon is taken, the underlying feeling shifts.